Today's topic is cheating. We're going to talk about why people cheat. Like, why do so many smart, successful people risk everything for an affair that doesn't even make sense? And we're also going to talk about how to heal if you've ever been through this intense form of betrayal, which I unfortunately have, and so many people have. Obviously, by now, I'm sure you've seen the memes and the tweets and the TikToks about that couple, the CEO and his head of HR. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. Getting caught on a Coldplay Jumbotron, obviously having an affair. Now, pro tip, if you are ever caught doing something embarrassing, doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, just pretend that like nothing's happened. Like had they just continued to cuddle, we wouldn't even know these people's names. Nobody would have noticed. Nobody would have cared. It was their reaction that brought so much attention to this. It's like, if you trip and fall, you just kind of get back up and just keep moving, like as if nothing happened. That's the move here. But this whole debacle has really brought the spotlight onto cheating and why people do this. I mean, this man has lost his job. He's lost his family. He's probably going to lose tons of money. I mean, deservedly so. His wife needs to absolutely take him to the cleaners for this one. So why do people do this? Let's talk about it. Now, I just want to say, this is not me excusing the behavior, defending the behavior. I have just always been the personality type where I need to just understand. It's not, for me, it was never just about, okay, how do I move on? No, I need to understand. I need to understand the psychology behind why this happened, what's going on. So cheating, a topic like this, can absolutely be super triggering to people. Again, like I've been cheated on. I completely get it. I'm just explaining it. And then we'll talk about healing from it. But I would never, ever justify it. It is a horrible thing to do to someone. And if you've been through it, you know that it leaves so much damage behind. And it takes a lot of work and many hours of therapy to undo it and to get yourself back to a place where you can trust other people and trust yourself. That's the thing with cheating. It just leaves you feeling like, well, I can't even trust my own judgment. How can I trust myself to go out there and choose a partner? Look at who I chose. Look at what happened. So it leaves so much emotional devastation behind. Okay, enough talk. Let's get into it. Why do people cheat? So despite what we like to believe, most people don't cheat because they're madly in love with someone else. It's rarely about some epic love story or even deep compatibility. It really has very little, if anything, to do with the other person, with the person they've decided to cheat with. Most people cheat because they want to feel alive. That is the most common reason. They want to feel something. They want to feel excited, desired, powerful, special, because that's what it is to be alive. Like that puts us back in our body, especially when day-to-day life can be so dull at times, disconnected, emotionally draining, monotonous. So affairs are, again, it's not about the other person. It's more about escaping a version of yourself that you've grown tired of. It's more about chasing a feeling than it is chasing some connection or deciding to upgrade to a better model, a better version. Oh, I'm tired of this person that I'm partnered with. Let's see what else is out there to upgrade to. No, that is not what it's about the majority of the time. A lot of the time, and this can so easily happen. I mean, I am coming up on my 10-year wedding anniversary. I can't even believe that I'm like old enough to be able to say that because I don't know, like my biological age and like mental age, we're not quite aligned. I mean, I still seem to think of myself as 25, but I am not even close. But I've been married for almost 10 years now. And there are times when you really can grow tired of the version of yourself that you've become in your relationship. This is why people always say relationships take work. This is what that work is. You might miss who you used to be. You might want to feel alive again. And novelty is the fastest way to get that dopamine spike. And most of us are living for the dopamine spike. I could do a whole episode just on that. There are times when you miss getting that attention and the excitement and the newness. Now, obviously, all of that, like all of that is a means to an end. Most people are looking for their person, their life partner. But if you're not putting the right kind of work into your relationship, or if you're in a relationship that's incompatible, over time, you can feel like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And I just want to reclaim that piece of myself. And someone comes along and maybe they spark that within you, they ignite it within you, and you latch on. And let's not forget, cheating is not always physical. There's also emotional cheating, DMs, secret emotional intimacy, late night texting. That can also feel just as violating because at its core, it's not about sex. It's about secrecy and it's about betrayal and it's about broken trust. Okay, so biologically, we know that novelty triggers dopamine. That first kiss feeling, the secret text, the flirty glances, it gives you a chemical hit. Now, I imagine with what is that company, Astronomer? I imagine with those two, the fact that they were coworkers and she's head of HR. Literally, her job is to enforce boundaries in the workplace. I mean, come on. She had one job. You had one job. I'm sure that added to the excitement, the thrill of it all. You know, we're coworkers and we're not only hiding this from our spouses, but we have to hide this from all these people that work at the company. And I'm sure they're stealing little glances and sneaking off. And that's exciting. It's exciting. It makes you feel alive. Now, here's another big reason people cheat. It's called the 80-20 rule. Okay. In most healthy relationships, you'll get about 80% of your needs met. I mean, you're very rarely going to get 100% of your needs met. I don't think that exists. That's normal. It's just not possible for one person to check every single box. But if your relationship is on a downward slope, which relationships ebb and flow, that's completely normal. And then someone new enters the picture. And this someone just so happens to fulfill that 20% that you're missing. So that lights something up in you. And then that 20% starts to look like 100%. You feel seen, you feel desired, you feel validated, and it feels like destiny. So maybe you start an affair. Maybe you even leave your relationship. You're convinced like, this is it. I found my person. You thought you were upgrading, but now you're in a deficit because now you're only getting the 20%, but you're not getting the 80%. And this is where limerence can come in. I'm sure you've heard this term before, which it's funny because I have been a relationship coach for 16 years now, and I've only heard this term within the last few years. And I was a psychology major, so I don't know what I feel like we need a term for everything. So limerence it is. I feel like limerence came about just to distinguish it from like obsession. I think people think obsession and they think like fatal attraction, crazy, psycho stalker. So limerence it is. Limerence is a psychological state of obsession and infatuation where you assign deep meaning to a connection that might not actually be that deep. This is why you really can't always trust your emotions and your hormones. You really need to gain a deep, deep level of self-awareness. We can talk about that another time. And I'm pretty sure I did do an episode on obsession, but there's a lot more to be said about that. So we will definitely talk about that more. And while we're on the subject, I have a whole section on this in my upcoming book, Detached: How to Let Go, Heal, and Become Irresistible. It comes out September 9th, but you can pre-order now. And if you pre-order, I will send you a free masterclass on the power of detachment. All you have to do is just email me with proof of purchase, or you can DM me, Sabrina@sabrinabendori.com, and I'll send it over to you. Okay, so you tell yourself, this is fate. They get me. I've never felt this way before, but it's not real. It's projection, it's fantasy, it's this chemistry hijacking your sense of logic. The thrill hijacks your sense of truth. And the ego boost disguises itself as connection. It does feel good when you're getting that ego boost. When somebody sees you, desires you, you're feeling alive. And then you may end up chasing something that was never meant to be, that was never aligned with you. Let's break this down a little bit further. Let's look at the reasons why men cheat versus why women cheat, because they're different. Men often cheat for ego, validation, and variety. It's not always about emotional disconnection. Sometimes it's just about wanting to feel admired. If a man feels unappreciated or unseen in his relationship, cheating can become an attempt to reclaim significance. So again, notice it's about him, not about you. According to marriage counselor M. Gary Newman's book, The Truth About Cheating, 92% of cheating men said it wasn't primarily about sex. It was about emotional disconnection and a lack of appreciation. Many men report feeling like they can't win. And when they feel like a loser, either in life or in love, they may give in to the temptation just to feel valuable again. Not because they don't love their partner, but because they don't love who they are in the relationship anymore. And this is why a man will cheat maybe with someone who's even less attractive. It's not about looks, it's about being seen, appreciated, and respected. And how many times have we seen this in the celebrity world? How many times have we seen male celebrities with women who are gorgeous, who are like flawless, who are perfect, and then they cheat with like the nanny who is just a plain Jane ordinary woman? It's not about, oh, my wife wasn't good enough, I wasn't attracted to her anymore. Not at all. It was him chasing a feeling. What I didn't realize for a long time, and for those who don't know my background, I spent like the first, 8 years of my career just studying men and writing about men and reading all the research about men and interviewing men. My first book was called 10 Things Every Woman Needs to Know About Men. The number one thing a man needs is to feel appreciated. He needs to feel like the man. And most of the time when men get divorced, when men just break up with a woman, when he suddenly decides to ghost a woman, it's because he feels completely unappreciated. Again, I'm not justifying it. Like, no, there's no justification. If you feel unappreciated, communicate that in a healthy way. Don't go and violate your partner's trust. Again, in this portion of the episode, we're explaining, not justifying. Now, what about women? Why do women cheat? Women tend to cheat for emotional reasons. They feel lonely, dismissed, or emotionally neglected. Again, it's not about sex. These affairs rarely are. It's about feeling understood. Many women who cheat have already emotionally checked out of the relationship. They've tried communicating, they've tried fixing things, they've tried reconnecting, and when none of it works, they find themselves drawn to someone who gives them what they're so starved for in their primary relationship, which is validation, attention, warmth. For some women, the affair feels like a rescue boat. It feels like a return to a version of themselves that they thought they lost. And it is fulfilling a vital, vital need, that need to be cherished, to be desired, to be adored. So that's the key difference between men and women when it comes to why they have affairs. There's also a self-sabotage component to this, which could be true for either gender. Some people cheat not because they want more, but because they don't believe they deserve what they have. It's not about chasing a connection. It's not about any of that. Self-sabotage is a huge problem for so many of us. Most of us don't realize all the ways that we are our own worst enemies. And some people are unable to ever let themselves have good things and just be happy. And there are so many reasons why that is. And I think we need to do a whole episode on self-sabotage. So I will definitely make a note of that because there's a lot to say on that topic. Again, it's worth repeating that cheating is not always about the physical act. Emotional affairs can begin with innocent conversations, with DMs, with venting to a coworker, with late night chats that slowly become more intimate than they should. They feel safe because there's no physical line crossed, but emotionally, the betrayal is already happening and that damage is real. The danger of emotional affairs is that they feel justifiable. But connection that grows in secrecy, in hiding, if you have to go into the closet or the bathroom in order to secretly text someone, you know that you're on shaky ground. And the truth is, if you have to keep it a secret, it's probably not as innocent as you're telling yourself that it is. So those are the main reasons why people cheat. Now, how do you heal from this? Because it can be a very long and hard road back. I'll tell you personally, when it happened to me, it happened to me a few times, but the time when it was the most devastating and destructive was when I was 21 and I was in and I've talked about this relationship before. I was in a very toxic, codependent relationship with a man that I later learned was a narcissist. And I did everything for this guy. He was more of the covert narcissist, meaning he was the victim of his life and he was depressed and nothing worked out for him and everyone was out to get him. And I was just always there supporting him, stroking his ego. You're amazing. The world just doesn't see it yet. You're incredible. And I did everything for him. I mean, we were together my junior year of college, the year that I turned 21. And I don't even think I ever went out or did anything fun with my friends. My whole life revolved around him. Obviously, this was not a healthy dynamic. And obviously, he felt quite pathetic, which he was at the time. And there was always a part of me that was afraid he would leave for someone else, because even the state that he was in, my self-worth was so low that I still thought he was the best I could ever get. And I really was trying to actualize his potential so we can have this incredible relationship. Anyway, he found someone else. He started sleeping with her when he and I were long distance for a short time. And then he left me for her. Now, the story that I told myself in my young 21-year-old mind was I wasn't good enough. And the most painful part of it was that I had given everything. It's not like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done. Well, obviously there's a lot I should have done differently, like leave in the beginning. I should have left at the first red flag. It was like, the way I interpreted it was I gave this person everything and it still wasn't enough. And thus, I'm not enough. I am not enough. Nothing will ever be good enough. Nothing's ever going to work out for me. The guys that I want are always going to leave me. Like, that was the story that I subconsciously wired in. And for years, I carried around this inferiority complex. For years, I carried around this fear that the guys I want are just going to leave me. And whatever it is that you program your subconscious to believe, you kind of will relive that over and over again. Your nervous system will always pull you to the same situations because that's what you expect and that's what feels familiar. So I was dating these emotionally avoidant guys who couldn't give me what I wanted, which kept proving to me that, oh, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm unwanted. So please do not make my mistake. It is not personal. You did not cause this. Cheating is a choice. It's a betrayal. And it reflects where the other person is at emotionally, not what you lacked. Their betrayal does not define your worth. It's a reflection of them. It is a reflection of them being too immature and emotionally stunted or crippled to be able to express themselves in a healthy way. And instead, they are destructive about it and betray the person that they supposedly love the most. Second, you can heal from this. It might take time, but it starts with releasing the belief that this makes you less lovable, that this determines your worth, that this determines your destiny, that, oh, this happened, so it will probably continue to happen. It doesn't. It just means they were unworthy of your loyalty. They were not worthy of you. And third, you get to choose what happens next. Some people stay, some people leave. There is no one size fits all answer, and it's not so cut and dry, especially when you have kids, when you have a family. But healing begins the moment that you stop internalizing someone else's brokenness as your identity. It begins when you recognize, okay, this is where they were coming from. This is why they did what they did. Can I get past this? Or is this something that is completely unacceptable and I will never forgive? Is there a road back, or do I just need to call it a loss? And that's a personal journey, one that you should definitely work through with a skilled therapist for sure, because it's very, very complicated and very nuanced. But above all, you will be okay. You will get through this. And someday it does all make sense. At the time, for me, it felt like the worst possible thing that could ever happen to me, and it wrecked me for a very long time. In hindsight, it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me. It caused a ton of pain, and I'll never deny that. But he did me a favor by leaving me and setting me free, because being with him would have been the worst thing to ever happen to me. So whatever perspective you have right now, recognize that that could look radically different within a few months, within a few years. I hope this episode was helpful. I hope it gave you some clarity and gave you some peace. I love hearing from you. Please leave a comment, send me a message letting me know what you thought, what topics you want to hear on this podcast. You can email me, sabrina@sabrinabendori.com. Follow me on socials, TikTok, Instagram @SabrinaBendori. Check out my website, sabrinabendori.com. And above all, don't forget to rate and review and send this to a friend. It just really helps me out. We are still a pretty brand new podcast. I appreciate all of you for being here, and I will see you next time.